Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone.
All right. Ready? I turn, you press start. It's next to the preheat.
The dashboard lights up with orange glow. The rounds per minute gauge jumps. The lights unfold with a little click, casting electrical light onto the ground before the vehicle.
There you go. I'll turn them off from the remote once you're done.
As you hold your ledger's clip under the headlamp, an iridescent hologram appears.
There she is. Revachol West.
Around the borders of the watermark are dozens, no, hundreds of The rectangular watermark is overlaid with the logo of the RCM, and yet the major arteries of Revachol are all recognizable. They shimmer. A rat brazenly darts past you and disappears amongst the stopped lorries. In the distance, a child somewhere shrieks. A woman reprimands her in a voice no quieter than the child's cry.
Ah, Martinez. Let me see. Right here. It has its problems.
There are many of them, and they are divided into 3 separate rows. The first row has 18 dots. The next is the longest. It runs all the way. You count 216 perforations. Considering that nice, large number, a wave of pride washes over you, though you can't say why precisely. The last row has 3 perforations. That's it.
Those are perforations. They represent your record as an officer of the RCM. They are your statistics, as it were. I should have guessed you'd keep a record. Officers often do. Let's take a look.
Alpha male officers who are proud of their numbers often do. It's meant.
The first row represents your years of service. 18 years. Okay, not bad at all. What did you do before you volunteered? That's what it says. I might have guessed even longer based on your age. What did you do all those blissful years of your youth? Cool. I'm glad you joined us. Not a lot of money in doom crying. Let's move on, shall we? This next row, the one that wraps all the way around, is your number of closed cases. Closed is good. Wow, more than 200. It's quite a lot, even for someone who's been on the force for nearly 2 decades. Usually, clearing more than 10 cases a year puts you in the 90th percentile of all RCM officers. call it what you want. You were a valuable member of your precinct. Now, right. Those are your confirmed kills. You've got precisely 3 perforations there. For an RCM officer, especially Precinct 41, which is in the Jamrock Quarter, it's rather... There are certain officers who treat their kills like some kind of ghoulish game. If they do happen to solve a case, it's usually by accident. But it seems as though you are, or at least were, one of the good ones. So we have that to be thankful for. Yes. Everyone has their own method of coping. Some more effective, or self-destructive than others. Personally, I find it helps to keep up a few hobbies. Oh, this and that. Let's not get into it now. Why not gardening? You've already got the gloves.
It's meant in earnest. Please don't mistake it for a jab. The lieutenant nods.
Right. I'll go turn off the lights.
Descent has only worsened since the last.
Ask what kind of races there are first. Classification is core to this stuff.
Do you?
You are obviously a liberal, Sailite. A polyculturalist. I can see it from your love of microtechnology and your sartorial choices. Do not deny your friend. There are 3 categories of race. Type A, the heroic races. Type B, the servile races. Those are the Simonese, the Areopagite, and the Occidentals, excluding the Mao, of course. A receding genetic pool has led the Maun on reprehensible street parades. In Maun cities like Stadskanal and Vredefort, wearing wooden clogs, you know them by the names of their nation states. The Oranese, the Gotwaldian.
Mahoon is a derogative term for first world people of Gotwaldian descent. They do not all have eczema. Also, people of Katla, like the Surulu and the Uhu, are much more lactose intolerant. In some municipalities of Oranje, people do wear shoes made of wood.
The Maun are proof that you can have too much Occidental racial purity and tassel-centric culture. The Vespertines and Messenians of Vesper and Messina, the ancient Meteorans of the other large Mondial civilization, the Mesk, are too yellow and oleaginous to count as a heroic race. Overproduction of sebum. Sebum is leaking into their brains, making them listen to El Mariachi music and eat toxic minced meat-based food. As proven by the Maun and the Mesk, Occidental Type A is in retrograde. The Simonese and the Areopagites are on. The Areopagites are sleek, long-headed. The Simonese are powerful, mesomorphic. The former is an immutable progenitor, unchanged since the Super Isola of Pericarnassus. Ancient brains rest in their slender skull. The latter is perfected and adapting. Together they form the Simenoari.
Nature was not capable of more.
Type B are the unheroic races, amorphous non-competitors of the Great Race.
The Koikos of Grad, Yugo, Zhimsk, Shest et al. Are what you would call white, officer, in a suspect.
Yes, to an untrained eye, the Koiko appear white and pinkish, like a hand sandwich. But look, pinkness is a racial quality that has to be earned through centuries of advanced ballistic warfare and The Koiko, the countless micronationalities of Grad, are all inexplicably obsessed with Podat. The only thing...
Wouldn't he be one for ethnostates?
They are microscopic. The Semeno-Areopagite superstate will cover the entire remaining planetary. Its leaders will be the genetic epitome of the Simonese and Areopagite stock. Revacholians, halfway between Type A and the Racial Cauldron. Too mixed to know right from wrong. You tried your degenerate little revolution.
Is it 82,000 years that we've been recording history? You have very little idea of what is happening, but that seems a little off.
The revolution came to Ravachol from Grad in Zaraz-ridden potato carts. It is literally an illness. The revolution is fatal familial insomnia. A hereditary prion condition passed from the Koiko to the Occidentals. But not sexually. Enough of type mediocrity. Types CF are a museum of failed chimeric experiments and tragic maladaptation. Lesser races like the mosquito, a grotesque mixture of a masked woman and a Seminese man. Only the mosquito is born sterile, like a donkey. All they have left is to ride customized.
It seems unlikely that two human beings produce genetically sterile offspring.
Then there is the Simino Koiki Chimera. Are you sure you wish to know of the Koiko, as you know, are very servile, especially when they meet the rich man. Racial scientists have told this will never happen. The Simonese and the Koiko may have similar interbreeding problems as them, but enough. It is cruel to entertain ourselves with the deformity. You understand nothing. To solve the great race enigma, you have to first ask yourself, what is the race enigma? We will...
Access to the Union is important for our investigation, but there may be another way.
Am I mildly worried he might take it seriously? The lieutenant thinks. Yes, I am, he concludes. I am
lost, though, buckled away at the last gate. This is why your haplogroup will never rise from. I cannot possibly imagine what else we have to.
Lonesome, long way home. Here we go. Home awaits. Walk past Station 41 and through the market. Past the Boogie Street spearhead to the other side of the lake, the frozen eye at the center of the district. Then, past the video rental store.
Hola, Wandering Man. How can I help you? Sorry, busy surveying the situation. I'm sure you'll figure something out. Wiretapping, telescopic batons, futuristic circuit bending to infiltrate harbor machinery. Maybe you could even knock that Kowalson crane over using some remote controls. Or calling in tactical air support. You guys have air support, right?
Because we don't. We don't have air support. Or
I get it. Hush hush about the secret technology. Alright, I may have some advice for you on how to deal with Jean-Luc there, out of solidarity to the RC. First, don't fight him, obviously. Second, get him to share his theory by being subordinate. Admit your lack of expertise. Basically grovel. That's how I do it.
Maybe that would work. We'll have to.
Murder, huh? That sounds like a lot of hard work. You'd never see me investigating a murder. That's okay. I have no idea what I'm doing either. I don't even know what day it is.
It's not often that I see officers from the RCN. What can I do for you?
His courtesy is not insincere, but he prefers being alone with his projector, just watching the movement of light across the walls of the shop.
I haven't had any problems myself, though some of my customers have complained about inconsistent law enforcement.
Who are your customers usually?
All kinds of people come through here. Locals, travelers. As you can see, I have a wide selection of goods for everyone to choose from. It keeps me entertained. Let me have a look. Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps. I doubt it, but I can try and answer any question. I do my best to keep my distance from all manner of butchery.
He doesn't know anything.
I do my best to keep my...
He doesn't know anything. The pawnbroker's gaze is already fixed on the dancing colors.
Someone else came here earlier today asking the same question. I promptly sold her the gun you pawned a couple days back.
This is a pawn shop, and it did feel as if you've met before. Oh, the lieutenant shifts from one foot to another, alert.
You were adamant about getting rid of it, officer. Said you were undeserving of us, and I don't like keeping guns around the shop for long. She didn't seem like a policeman, although she kept referring to herself as a pig, truth be told.
Right, so let me get this right. You sold your sidearm, issued by the citizens' militia, and now a civilian is running around the streets of Martinez with it? It's possible in these parts of town. We ought to find her and discourage her from taking justice.
My apologies, officer.
A needle in a haystack. There is nothing you can do about it now. You'll just have to...
Of course.
You see rows of toy soldiers guarding the rest of the trinkets displayed. Try to find something pretty and cool here. Then use it. Why? What's this? A headless man riding a horse? A headless man wearing futuristic...
Oh, that's the Headless Phone Rider. The Headless Phone Rider. It's an urban legend. About a man who... 50 cents. Bargain priced. I'll throw in the time.
He lost his cap when he lost his head. Perhaps he's looking for the head.
Did I mention that this figurine is supposed to be lucky?
G'day to you, officers.
A burly man hangs out by the waterlock, carving up a generous serving of salami with an old hunt.
My friend Barry the Butcher is stuck on the other side of the waterlock. I'm keeping him.
From the corner of your eye, you see a man in a yellow shirt.
Very good stuff. Anything I can do for you, officer? I wasn't here to witness it, but those look like tire tracks on that sign.
The words daredevil driver.
Too bad it also takes a year and a day to repair anything around here. Well, there's the fishing village, an abandoned fish market, a bizarro church. Not really much else. Just sure thing. Want some too, officer?
Why not?
Whoa! What a bridge with loose nails and rot-infested wood that creaks in the wind. A construction code violation.
True, they never cleaned up the war damage. The rest of Revachol looks better. The bridge is fine enough. Locals use it all the time, after all. It's...
This is a wall on the side of an apartment building. You have no clue. It's just a wall. A striking woman leans against the cabin top of her safe.
Good afternoon, officers. I'm Joyce. Joyce L. Messier. I represent the board of Wild Pines, the owners of the harbour. You gentlemen must be from the RCM. Clayton, my maiden name. I meant you, the Revachol Citizens Militia. The police. Nothing, honestly. I've said it to every drunk in town, and you're the first one who's responded.
Relax. She meant it in jest.
I'm glad to see you here. I was dispatched to handle a strike, not a lynching. Anything I can do to assist...
That is good to hear, madame. My colleague will take the lead on this interview. I should let you know that he is recovering from an unusual...
He's trying to signal something. He wants you to play up your condition.
How interesting. I wish you a swift recovery. In the meanwhile, you have my full cooperation, and the full cooperation of the Wild Pines group. Why, yes I am. The boat? No. It is called Cor de Leyte 19 because it's a pleasure craft, a 19 pacer. It also happens to be rated for Category 1 racing. My sloop? I like it a lot. It's the Eel's Hip.
I'm enjoying this part of the interview. It has so little to do.
I really do, the lieutenant thinks. Is she thrown off yet? He's looking at the woman, assessing her.
Of course there are. We're on an archipelago. How else are you supposed to get around? Yes, we are. We are on Le Caillou.
Technically, the neighboring Ozone and Fas a la Mer island groups are archipelagos, while La Caillou, by contrast, is a single fertile...
Okay, if you want to get technical. The point is, we're all on islands here, and sail is still the most expedient way to get from one island to another. Especially when you're in a hurry to resolve a strike. I haven't seen anyone else drive a souped-up Capri Kenema motor
Actually, that motor carriage has been specially issued to serve as a patrol and It's for crossing long distances in the greater Revachol industrial harbor. It's...
Neither is this. A toy, I mean. It's a machine for crossing long distances in the Bay of Revachol. But
you need to make this lady admit she's only riding around on this boat because she's rich. You have the guns and the ammo. Take this Clausen fiend down.
Oh my, the E word. You mean to say that it's a symbol of conspicuous consumption? That I'm a member of the ruling class?
Detective, may I remind you that Mrs. Messier is a professional negotiator?
Then what does that say? Does it say docking reserved for residents of Rue de Saint-Ghislain, 33A? This old proletarian haunt here. As I said, plenty of people drive boats.
She takes a sip.
Okay.
Nothing happens for quite a while.
As they do.
The thoughts happen inside his brain.
It doesn't.
My, it's as if there's a tiny spinner on the side of his head and he's...
Except he isn't.
No worries. We can just go back to discussing my fast, large, interminably middle-class boat. Officer, I assure you I'm a highly qualified pleasure craft.
The crowns of her teeth are porcelain, white as the... Her nonchalance might be related to something called the Wayfarer Act. A law that says she doesn't need a license. Sly fox, you're not aggressive enough to harass her further on the...
Good. What we do. I'm afraid I don't speak...
There was a touch of discomfort there. She wants to merely represent.
The Pines' core competency is logistics. Container shipping, freight, that sort of thing. And that is the terminal. Another subdivision deals with energy, oil and gas exploration.
The Wild Pines Group is one of the original Revacholian Indo-tribes. Companies awarded royal monopolies by the king, the suzerain himself, Saint Jean-Baptiste, Elizíumí, an unknown entity known as Brightest.
Why, thank you. I'm not at liberty to discuss the company balance sheet, but I can tell you that last year, the company booked more than 20 billion real in revenue. And to think, there are years when the group books losses in the billions. Wild Pines employs 72,000 people, all of whom have families that depend on their salaries. They started as an exploration and cargo fleet conducting trade between the Samaran and Insulindian Isolas. Centuries of care, deliberation, and madness have gone into this endeavor. Vessels pass through the great unrest to re-emerge with apricots in tow. The logic of the system is totalizing. It's taken everything from its employees. You mean aside from being the terminal's legal owners, who are responsible for moving 8% of the world's cargo? There are no minor cogs in the system. Each terminal must be accounted for, lest the entire system break. Every hiccup in such a system means thousands lose their jobs, the world over. I'm here to assure that doesn't happen.
With your help, hopefully, says her warm tone.
Everything. Right up to, but not including, trade secrets. First, you'd have to repeal the Emergencies Act of Trade in Aliments. That gives me the right to silence. It's quite the octopus. Why? By throwing off half a century of foreign domination under the Coalition. Unfortunately for you, the Coalition
You'd be shooting yourself in the foot, in other words.
But I am derailing us. You wanted to know about I believe the official title is Senior Labor Negotiator. In practice, I'm a grocery clerk. I relay the union's demands to Wild...
No way. She's more. She can make decisions.
And how are the talks going?
They're not. That's the problem. The union stopped all negotiations a week ago. Now they won't even let me into the harbour. There's a 2-meter-20 racist behemoth blocking the gate. Yes, Jean-Luc Measurehead. Let's say I was not making the kind of progress I'd hoped for when I first arrived.
And when did you first arrive?
I arrived 3 weeks ago. Yes, in the middle of February. The bay was still partially frozen then. I preferred to do...
But the strike began in December.
I wasn't the original negotiator here. I took over after Mr. Gaumont hit a wall with Mr. Clare, the union boss. Mr. Clare refused...
This isn't the first time the union has got...
Heavens, no. There have been 2 prior strikes. Both times the union won significant concessions. including overtime pay and a medical plan.
Ludicrous even. It's meant.
There are leaflets everywhere and banners. Every worker, a member of the board.
Most of the workers probably don't know what that means.
In its defense, another said, demand democracy. Pretty tame stuff compared to every worker, a member of the board. It's quite simple, you see. Every time the Wild Pines group makes a decision, about what? About anything really, it needs the signature of each. Just so you understand, this is but one of 22 terminals owned by Wild Pines.
An opening gambit, surely.
So I hoped. But this type of opening is usually followed by a more reasonable offer. And now, people are getting lynched, I hear.
Excuse me, from whom did you hear?
I first heard it from the boyer at the gates, the one whose very name advertises his aversion to work. I think he said it was, call me mañana.
This checks out. No, wait. The chief negotiator heard it from a man at the gates. Surely the Wild Pines group has more effective channels of information.
The scabs? You mean the huddled masses of Jamrock, come to plead for work where the union refuses to? If they were organized by Wild Pines or its affiliates, then it would be a company secret. I could not share it with you. Not right now, at least.
It's implied she's open to discussing this matter with you at a later occasion.
Everard Clare is a man of the utmost integrity. If you can say one thing about him.
She's being sarcastic. Don't take her performance literally.
Of course not. Everard is fantastically corrupt. I imagine he has a thick, viscous goo where you and I have blood. He is the most corrupt individual I have ever seen, and I deal with men like him for a living. If there is anyone more venal, more Yes, Edgar looks exactly like his brother, except for that lazy eye. He also talks exactly like Everard does. And when one's term is full, it's how they circumvent the term limits, you see, with a funny little switcheroo. While in office, they've embezzled God knows how much of their workers' due. The Débardeurs Union was once a perfectly normal institution. 20 years ago, anyway. It must not have been easy to establish under the organized labor at its best, as they say. Then something happened in the local chapter elections. The brothers Clare came and transformed it into a
mob. The Débardeurs are a crime syndicate. Sad as it may be, I suspect we'll be
refreshingly honest, officer. The company has tried appeasing in the past. And your opinion, detective, if I may ask? I'm a curious and talkative person, you see. Would you say the Débardeurs Union is... Thank you for being candid. Sadly, Wild Pines have cooperated with what amounts to a crime syndicate for 2 decades. I'm glad you asked. There was a woman, the previous forewoman of the union.
disappeared?
Yes. On the last day of the local chapter elections, her daughter phoned in and said she wasn't running anymore, or coming to work. Ever. End of story. Downright haunting, if you ask me. The Wild Pine, the point of the presentation is, these kinds of...
Thank you for your concern, ma'am. We'll be just fine.
Mr. Clare told him to... How did he put it? Fuck off, midget. Gaumont is short of stature, you see. Yes. Extremely. Keep in mind that, of course. How else can I help? Quite a few things, I'm afraid. The information I'm to share with you includes sensitive trade secrets. For the sake of my employer, I have to ask for your names and badge numbers.
Of course, ma'am. We should have introduced ourselves. And this is my colleague from Precinct 41. I'm afraid he doesn't have his badge at the moment.
How curious. Why is that, detective?
'Twas stolen by some artist, surely. Best to pin the blame on them. Everyone knows you can't trust artists.
I see. So, are you saying you lost your badge during the course of this episode? I can't hear you, darling. Speak up, please. Oh dear. I suppose this does explain some of...
She must have been suspecting some.
As I said, ma'am, his technique may be very unconventional.
Of course, I sympathize, but I'm afraid I simply can't share anything more.
She's a professional negotiator. She should be open to some sort of mutually beneficial arrangement. She's a negotiator. Just float a favor at her. Insinuates.
I will be frank with you. If I'm going to break protocol, I need to be able to justify it to my superiors.
You're in, but expect her to drive her hard.
Reports from inside Terminal B suggest it's a hub for the local drug trade. This is an open secret in Martinez. The Union controls...
They're profiting from this trade.
The company has tried looking into this matter before, to no avail. Perhaps someone with your authority, or you can recover your badge. Though if I may be blunt...
Detective, a word in private before we continue.
It's clear you like the hard stuff, Brota. Evening falls. The time has come to take the vow. The vows are blurred and lower intestine. The term is fascism, Brota. Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Rivershot's problems? Yes, them. But women. Women, men of war, you don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Woo men need to go. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important. But the main thing is that woo men need to know their place. Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Okay, yes, let's call it that. That sounds much better. Traditionalism. You're going to keep your views, right? Keep your views, Brota. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines. No, it is one of betrayal and disappointment.
This is not going quite as I hoped it would. Honestly, I was expecting you to use your unorthodox technique to keep her off balance, and not volunteer us to be her henchmen. This woman is running circles around us. She might have known about your misplaced badge all along. Or she's simply an adept improviser.
Maybe this is all her plan. She might have heard about you.
I wouldn't go that far. Her reaction did come off as sincere to me. I think she's just quick to adapt. She's a professional, after all. No, if there is reasonable suspicion, we must investigate. Otherwise, she could claim we're siding with the Union. Or what I propose is, we ask her, then we investigate, briefly. But do not share the outcome of this investigation with her. We tell her it's done and demand for her information on the...
You're back. Good. What can I help you with? It's quite straightforward. Someone is using Terminal B to smuggle
Ingredients for what?
meth and dextroamphetamine, GBL, and various synthetic psychedelics. Honestly, it might be quicker to say what you... Yes. After they clear the terminal, we lose track.
Wildpine seems to be well apprised of the local drug trade, ma'am. Do you mean to say the Union also?
We're in logistics. It's our business to know. And no. As far as the company knows, the Union does not produce... Yes, but you won't get anything out of Evrat and the Dock Workers Union. Still...
The handoff. The motor lorries at the roundabout.
Precisely. Someone needs to move the ingredients from the harbour into the city.
How convenient that they're stranded like beached whales at
Perhaps you've noticed that a number of lorries are tangled in a traffic jam at the roundabout just now. Interview the I'll be explicit. If you find this driver,
uncovering the Union's secrets could also give you an upper hand when dealing with them.
how do you think they're financing this strike? There are thousands of unpaid dock workers going strong for the
There was a shakedown of local businesses preceding the strike. Many were squeezed to bankruptcy to fund it.
With all due respect to these desert cacti, the contents of a few cash registers cannot provide for 2,000 men. The local businesses can scarcely provide for themselves. Precisely. Smuggled out of that very gate at night, most likely, then loaded onto lorries and driven to Jamrock. You simply need to find one driver who will open up to you. Yes? Excellent. According to my reports, there are at least three. It may come to nothing, or it may just blow the case wide open. In the meantime, let me know if there's any other way I may be of assistance. This reality.
Yes, reality is your side, an experimental side case.
Ah, yes, the episode.
Don't be phased, madame. He functions perfectly well.
We may be here a while then.
All right, we're in. I know these all look good, but begin with the first, okay?
We're in Martinez, baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover. Aren't we all?
She refers to your corresponding ages.
Martinez is a district of Revachol. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say. Forgotten, even. Shelled to smithereens. It's not really a sea, it's the Bay of Revachol. Yes. We're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest...
Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensités Bleues. Vast, lukewarm and unknowable. Flowing in and out of...
Revachol? Revachol is what? The great kind.
As if it's self-explanatory. Beyond patriotism.
History detective. They built this city to resolve history. The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Seminine and Ile Marat, depending on your creed, in the DeLorean century. 380 years ago. They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered. By that I mean conflicts. We are standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people in the middle of the Insulindic Ocean, the world's connective tissue. I think it's fair to say so. 22 kilometers from the center of the world. That soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are Insiacom.
Silence. She lowers her hand. The water, the light. It's as though you're seeing it for the first time. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence. This is one thought you need.
Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown.
This has been informative. Thank you, ma'am. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here.
Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term.
It's better not to eat all your candy at once.
Indeed. I'm always at your service. What I am not is a basic term of reality.
There may be a way to get her speaking about herself.
Glad to have been of assistance. The little that I know. Of course, detective.
This coin-operated viewer is facing southwest. Its coin slot is full. The metal feels cold and wet under your palm. It looks unhygienic.
Probably some kids.
A thick layer of graffito covers the lenses. You spell out the word Onuk. That's Kuno. Under the graffito, a sea of blues and greys appear. Behind the water lies a coast studded with concrete and reeds. On it, a church on stilts. Lanky weather-worn. You know this to be the star of Periconesus, or the Cairo. The church looks old and weather-worn. Around the large wooden building, you see chunks of sea ice gathered on the beach.
Hello again, officer.
Looking for something, Hunt? Oh man, that's great. Look at that guy go. Haven't seen anything. God damn. Thanks for that, but no.
He doesn't live in Martinez.
Drugs? They are shit, man. I don't let anything pollute my body. You know where that shit comes from? Sarah Miriza, Safre. They know they can't beat us in a fair fight. So they have to get us...
Perhaps it's good to agree to get him talking.
I don't go for that foreign piss. Proper booze is made in Mundi. Or sometimes I like a dram of that Yugograd vodka.
He eyes you wearily, unsure how to respond. Damn, it didn't work. You should have...
I don't know shit. And if I did, I wouldn't tell you. What do you think? I can't leave the lorry unguarded. Stuff's been getting looted lately. It's those little kips sneaking around at night.
There was a bunch of spilled boxes in the back of a big lorry nearby.
Yeah, I knew that guy. He was an honest driver who loved this country. We were having a good debate about genetics. Since he left, I haven't had anyone to talk.
If they were getting drunk inside the whirling in rags, how could they know who broke into the lorry?
What? Aren't we allowed to say that it's the kips who do all the stealing around here? That's not road to science, man.
The tear machine stands in the corner. Your bottles clunk into the machine, and the money appears with a satisfying...
Yes? Me? I don't see how my life is pertinent to the investigation. That's a fair point. All right, for the good of the investigation. That's correct.
You feel a slight urge to put the lieutenant down for this, but you can't quite muster enough testosterone.
I guess you don't need glasses, then. That's because I'm half Seolite, or quarter. My father's father was from Seoul. So was my grandma. It's a part of the world, officer. A geopolitical entity and a geographic division. I told you.
Seoul is a protectionist, isolationist, pan-Isolary state west of the Insulindian Isola.
You're barking up the wrong tree. I don't speak a word of Seolite. I've never met either one of my grandparents.
A point of pride to him.
No.
The lieutenant nods.
What do you mean? I have no idea what you're talking.
The lieutenant's conceptualization skills must be rather rudimentary. The lieutenant is a police officer of the old school. But this isn't an old school case.
I can't say that it does, no. When I need to think, I just use my notebook.
The lieutenant produces his small blue notebook. We all have our different mediums. His is written.
Good. Let's change the subject.
A simple little cadence. He seems to be making it up as he goes.
You sure are, my man. It's the jam, my man. It's a traffic jam for the ages. Harbor gates up the street are shut tight. No explanation given. Workers on street. Meanwhile, we're all stuck here in long haul limbo for days upon days. Yeah, exactly.
It's official. He too agrees. This is the antechamber of...
Feels like forever. Like I was born on this here roundabout and this was all I ever knew.
Mazout is an antiquated term for heavy fuel oils. This man has a barely suppressed performative streak. Or he just likes unusual words. Or both.
Yeah, imagine. It's been a whole week already. So tell me, what do you need? He ain't one of us drivers. I know that. All accounted for.
It's easy to see he's telling the truth. He's kept his nose out of the dark stuff.
Analyzing the fundamental structural and psychological conditions of being stranded in the midst of a sea of motor lorries and their sad, despondent chauffeurs.
Ask for his conclusion.
A sense of surprise there ain't more bodies hanging from more trees. Oh, high-grade narcotics, illegal firearms, stuff like...
Relax. He's merely joking.
Ha! No, I'm joking, my man. Found runs a nice, clean business. This haul of cargo is mostly sporting goods. They usually get shipped to Grad and the Occident. Though we've been making headway in the Il Moran market lately. This rockin' beauty. Sure is. Like a rash you can't get rid of. You interested?
A motor lorry, also called a camion, on Caillou and neighboring islands. This one looks roughed up enough to be some sort of found...
Good eye, my man. Yup, she's an old one, but reliable. Me and her spent a long time together. We're pals and all, but I can't just freely hand out the merchandise. The bosses won't be happy. Not unless they've illegalized sports equipment while I was...
The man taps his fingers rhythmically against his arm.
Ah, man. Me and narcotics go way back. But those days are behind me. There are other addictions in my life now. Why the inquiry, my man? Hey, man, that's serious criminal talk. Are you trying to pull some sort of an...
Entrapment is a practice whereby an officer of the law induces a person to commit a criminal offense that the person would have otherwise been unlikely to commit. Usually,
We have a credible lead, sir. Someone on this roundabout is waiting for a bulk shipment from the harbor.
Not me, man. No way. I don't need any trouble. Shit's bad enough anyway. This jam's gotta guard the stuff. Bosses don't look kindly on missing cargo.
a rhymesmith. This is quite credible. It goes with its cadence and way of speaking.
Look, man, I try to stay away from the criminal underbelly of Revachol. I'm a guest here. You really...
We wouldn't say he's lying, sire. Wait, there's something here, stored away in some dusty corner. It starts like...
Whoa. What else? Silent communion. That's good. Dang, that's some great shit. You came up with that yourself.
Or did you learn it in school? More importantly, who can prove if you did? Go with it. You deserve some acclaim.
Right. But really, no bullshit. That's great stuff. I sort of want to know if it's yours. No matter. Great verse is like that sometimes. Ephemeral. You might not look it. Just messing with you. It's cool. You're an okay guy. For a cop. They're more often in the fists than rhymes, see? Let alone honesty and verse.
In a small office behind the old military hospital, hunched under the green glow of his desk light, Officer Hans Blau browses through a test print of his Futurist magazine. It's called The Futurist. The typeface on the header is too small. The lieutenant looks at you in silence, a curious look in his eyes, nodding slightly.
Well, you've given me some hope, I guess.
You found some common ground with this man, even impressed him. The next time you look in the mirror, though, remember those words.
Don't be a stranger.
What did he do? You have no idea what you did a week ago. High above you, the king stands triumphantly oblivious to your memory. The small, wrinkled woman does not greet you. She nods along. The photo, an ambrotype from the turn of the century. It's the warmth of a winter night's fire. Maybe she could give you comfort and shelter. No response, wherever this woman is. Nothing. Her smile just keeps widening.
If you want her attention, you may need to be more forceful.
Where am I? Who are you? Never mind. I remember now. I'm still stuck in that traffic jam. In the 50s. The men have small jaws and everything is made out of plastic. Why do you need plastic when you can make the world out? Back in Methka, during the time of the revolution, the side walls and cafes are filled with a yum until you came along, that is. This is Gabriel Buenguerro.
A strikingly handsome man looks straight at you, his head crowned with a wide-brim hat.
He was the biggest star of his day. Girls used to faint in the aisles of cinema whenever he came on the screen.
In all likelihood, it's a world that's only ever existed in her mind.
Someone was. They are someone's memories, boy. They're beautiful. That is all that matters. I wasn't dreaming. I was there, Loman. It was early while you, people, were tearing each other apart over your...
The Republic of Mesk is a massive confederation on the Isola of Muindi, the world's largest state by territory.
Why not, Harife? It's not like I have anything better to do in this hellhole. What do I need drugs for, Loman? What I see, what I feel, the great adversary. Yes, there is a protagonista and an adversario. I am on the side of the adversary.
Those epithets are familiar somehow. The great adversary.
If you don't know,
Maybe if she thought you're corrupt.
why would I want to do that? Loman, what in the name of God are you talking about? Maybe. Probably not. Makes no difference to me either way. Just this month, I made half a dozen trips from Saramiriza to Grat, on the U41A. What? No, Loman, diamonds. Easy. Is the skinny man who thinks he's a poet. Never trust a poet.
That's correct. There is no visibility of any of the others.
Diamonds are good for you, Loman. You should try them sometime. Make yourself... Where do you want me to go? This isn't so bad. Or I can just relax and let my mind...
I think we're done here, no?
Yes, go. Enough jamboree.
Hey. Psst. Psst. Hey, yes, you. Word on the street is you're ready to... Yes, you're ready to start building communism again. You've built it before. They've built it before. So, what about all that communism you've promised to build? Word on the street, you keep saying things like, down with the bourgeoisie, eat the rich, sodomize the landowners, impale all... Okay, not in so many words. But don't everyone can see that. So tell me, do you have any question? Failure. It's about failure. Yes, abject failure. Total, irreversible defeat on all fronts. Absolutely you alone, against every living thing, against every human alive. 800 trillion real. You against the atom, the charm and the spin, where the whole world failed. Matter failed to bend to human. Now get to work, comrade. Failure. It's about... Of course you do. You are failure. You alone. You now get to work, comrade. Very well. I guess no one will build communism then. Tell the working no objections. It's mathematically impossible to achieve a classless... Anyone? Anyone else? There's no one. Okay then. Lie down and let the water carry... lorry stuck in the traffic jam. The windows are clear. They've been recently washed. You can see the back end of the cabin as a small perch to sleep. A book with ragged edges catches your notice. The front cover features a large muscular...
Racist nationalist paraphernalia. Not unusual in this part of town. This is our guy. Likely, yes. This guy's proud of who he is. Drapes it all over his machine.
The driver has adorned his space with a substantial collection of peculiar paraphernalia. Proclamations about honor, strength, and purity are glued to various panels.
To work! Things are busy enough. You're going to waste less of my time.
The hulking man oozes stark skepticism.
Not before you get in there and get your ass whooped. Learn by failure.
He might have some advice, but you got to at least try to fight Measurehead first. Return if you...
Descent has only worsened since I last saw you. You have really let yourself go.
How did this happen? Your little fist is in his giant hand and he's squeezing it. It hurt.
You must be out of your mind, degenerate drunk.
Your fist cracks in his hand like a ripe apple. Pain shoots up into your brain. As
the words to the song have changed.
Your hand twists in his grip and the pain blinds you. Still you press the words out of your
Good. Now leave before you humiliate your homo-erotic organization any further.
I'd appreciate it if you didn't force us into situations where I may have to shoot random civilians. I'm not even sure the one bullet my chamber holds would even prick that Hulk. We are not here on some political quest. We are here to solve a crime. Don't make the situation any more volatile than it already is. Let's think of something else.
I guess getting past the man ain't that simple after all. So, what now?
Nice aggression with the native. Don't let the chief fool you next time. You don't need to be that up in his face.
Not bad advice, actually.
Let's talk about our right to work. No, I'm not a fighter. I'm a worker. We were promised work. We'd be in there, working. If the main gate's locked, would take heavy ordnance to bust it open. Could try to get in through the secretary's office. And I don't mean the scrawny mess punk either. I mean head measurer, or whatever he is. Yeah, giant on the bridge that kicked your ass. Head measurer. Won't let the workers by. The access panel is right bad. Standing on a narrow bridge, he's got a strategically advantageous... I don't know how the Union has a trained killer up there. But that one's no joke, and my men are tired. Why don't you go arrest them instead? I'm sure they've done plenty of crime.
It would be better for the neighborhood if you went home, at least for now.
No! They will give up eventually. Or get drunk.
Looking for something, Hunt? Isn't it obvious? Fucking Sealang. That beady-eyed South Samaritan. He's a Samaran guy who likes to pretend he's some kind of businessman. Or he just follows the smell. It smells like...
Yes, yes.
Looks like I offended your partner there. Too bad. His tribe are natural liars. It's in their blood.
I wouldn't be so sure about it.
Guess so.
You see a Samaran street vendor surrounded by a motley assemblage of goods. The name Sileng.
Happy shopping, officer. Everything's cool. You're very cool. Bang, 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 bang. You're right, officer. 100%. No playing around then.
No need to dress this one up. Just tell him what you want.
Oh, okay. But why, officer? Ah, yes. Money is very important.
Are you trying to ask for a bribe? If so, you're not...
Sorry, detective. Drugs? I don't go in for that, officer. Drugs ruin lives. Unless you're into drugs, of course. In which case, drugs are excellent. Mwah! Tasty, tasty drugs. That's so cool. You investigating the local drug trade like...
A blatant lie, sire. Yet he tells it with such conviction.
Who said that? It's the fat racist, right? I bet it's him.
So you admit you're a lorry driver?
No, I just said I work harder and he's an asshole. Okay, maybe I'm a lorry driver too. A little. But that's not the... Exactly! It's such a small part of my life. It's in the rear view mirror now. No! That's insane! It's the fat hater. It's nothing. I told you. I'm not a dumb guy.
And what crowd is that?
Crowd, you know.
No, he wasn't talking about an abstract crowd. It was that crowd.
Shush, please. There's bad people doing bad things here. That's all I know.
Here we go. There's a tiny bit of truth on the table. Zoom in on it.
It's a she, okay? The other drivers call her the lady driver. You're better off staying away from her. The way they talk about her. I don't know. Maybe. If she is.
It could be. He's not ruling her out.
All of them. I don't know. I told you all.
Who exactly is talking about this lady driver of yours? The risk.
All of them. Even the ones who've left. All right. I scored. Let's cap this off.
There are clothes inside. Cheap.
Don't be shy. These are premium class clothes. Good quality.
How about some premium class service over here? Save the economy. That sounds off.
Haven't you heard, officer? We've got to be economically conscious. Recycle your cash, keep it in circuit. Very cool.
You find your hands deep in tattered and faded garments made from weird polyester.
Economical, but also trendy. Look firsthand.
Something cold grazes your hand. Synthetic and sleek. A windbreaker.
Good choice, officer. Mega sporty. And it's only $4.50 for you, sir.
Lowman, you caught me at an opportune moment. This awful weather keeps me awake. You can entertain me with your questions. Did you just call me a lady, Jerife? I'm not that either, Jerife. I've gone too far from it all to remember what was between my legs. I'm only terrifying to small children.
Yeah, it's not her. Believe me.
The big ones, the trucks. There's no women and men there. It's all in the middle of this town. There's a ghostly motor.
In the background, a quiet song seeps from her cabin into the air. You don't...
How should I know? Do I look like I spend a lot of time with the other communers because they can no longer recognize the person I once was? Oh, Sim.
You found Kuno's secret door to Kuno's secret shack. It was closed for 5,000 years. Shit. Get the fuck out of here. You
can't do that, Kuno.
Pigs can't displace. Can't do that teleport shit. How did you like it in there, pig old boy? Kuno's got a lot of cool shit there, right? Is it? You got pretty fucked. Kuno's surprised you've still got your head after all that. Whatever, piggy. It's a vitamin, pig. Don't you know anything?
You could use some.
Yeah, it's the mag. You fucking need that shit to stay on top of your game. Kuno goes through like...
Oh, don't teach him, Kuno. He's gonna use it against you, Kuno.
You're not getting this, pig. It completely takes away the hangover. It's like you didn't do anything. Like you stayed home playing with your choo-choo.
Fuck you, pig. Don't do mag. You're gonna OD and you're gonna fucking die.
That's where Kuno gets his daily hit of electric.
Bet you'd like to ride the lightning too, wouldn't you? You feel tired and old.
Of course you fucking can. How do you think Kuno made all the docky boys his gimps? Just Kuno knows. Kuno and C saw you shit yourself. It's okay, pig. Not everyone can face the fear Kuno style. Good call, Pigmeister. Don't come and talk to Kuno about his kingdom. Yeah, like a fucking volcano.
You're lucky you didn't die there.
Yeah. Kuno's got some advice for you. What are you? Like 80, right? Maybe you should stop embarrassing yourself.
Perhaps you could compress this negative energy and turn it into some sort of a Kuno-fied non-vomiter. Don't ask questions. Roll. That's right. Turn your weaknesses into conceptual strengths. Try it again now.
Right, Pig? This is where Kuno plays with his little... Yeah, Kuno doesn't know shit about that. That shit is beneath Kuno. Listen, listen. Kuno doesn't care about this small-time shit. Just listen. Kuno could hook you up with some sweet rags. Shit like Kuno's wearing. Your size, good price. Look, Kuno ain't seen shit lying around. Except for that up there. Now...
The lieutenant remains silent, but his
Pig, these are found modulars. Liquid fit, performance crotch. Urbans, believe it, you need this shit.
These could drastically improve your chances of they will also make you into an idiot.
Alright, Piggo. Shit's rolling.
Don't do business with the pig.
As you can see, Kuno and C don't trust you. Can't do...
There's more to his distrust than being a pig.
The fuck? A mug in the trash? Is this about the fucking clothes again? Yeah, Kuno sees where this is going. Kuno's got that fast brain. You saying you pigs are after the mug fucker?
I can't hear you, Kuno. Speak louder.
Shit, that's tense. Someone's going to the beat-down basement, huh? Mug guy gonna get tied to the radiator. Kuno doesn't know who put that shit in there. And if he did, he wouldn't squeal.
Tell the Kuno who it was. He's curious.
Stop turning into a pig, Kuno. They're trying to get you hooked on the snitching.
Yeah? Get your bacon shit away. Kuno doesn't like to be seen with the Pope. Look at that fucking shit. You're trying to get Kuno killed. Fuck does Kuno know? Kuno's not a fucking act.
The lieutenant takes a quick...
It's a trap, Kuno. Don't climb it, Kuno.
Dunno. Kiptas Gardner used to work there.
Kipt is a pejorative term used to describe people of South Seminese or Erie Opagite descent. It used to...
Look, Kuno doesn't explain shit.
Yeah, her. What was she doing in the greenhouse? Fish is sometimes used to fertilize the soil a few weeks before plantings. Yes, it seems suspicious. You don't like...
Yeah, whatever. Kuno doesn't give a shit. Kuno doesn't fuck...
Hello again, officer. Well, this might be the last snow we get. Snow has nutrients in it. Helps everything green up in the spring. At least...
Yes, think about the cute grandma, not the weird snow. Stop looking at her. Look around. What do you see? That's right. And the canal, the bookstore, the harbour gates. This is a great vantage point for keeping an eye on you. Glad to have been of service. Now you know the locals are keeping tabs on you. There he still is, looking right through you. With it, as you breathe in, the odor comes over you. It's a smell of the mind telling you to run, and your stomach to wring itself. It's a puzzle. What's hanging in front of you is a puzzle of decaying flesh. The man before you is naked, but for a pair of underpants and enameled boots. His skin is greenish, marbled with decaying veins, and blocked. The hangman's knot is pulled tight by the weight of the corpse below. Yellow, hard-edged polyester cuts into his neck. Above, a sliding This is a steel-reinforced cargo lashing belt. Big brother of the regular cargo belt. It's used for tying cargo under...
Airlifting. I thought it was used on lorries for strapping cargo to them. The local harbor uses 6 rotors to shuffle containers around. I get the sense they use whatever was on hand without paying much attention to not incriminating themselves. I'm still approaching this as a lynching, yes, motivated by the ongoing strike. You? %70 of the cases I get are just filling in the blanks on the initial report. This belt worries me. I was afraid it would be. Thin steel wiring, parallel strands. This makes getting him down more problematic than I had. A noose is one of those things that's easier to use one way around. That ladder can't carry a grown man. I didn't see any splintering either, did you? I think they lassoed the branch. Then
Could be. The shape of the branch supports the theory. The cadaver hangs from the cargo belt. The material appears to be ceramic. Its clean white stands in stark contrast to the decaying flesh above the knee. Delicate and fragile, they feel alien to the world around you. Out of place. These are clearly not boots. They're armor, possibly part of a lock.
indeed. Technically speaking, these are sabatons.
Oh, the lieutenant uses a memo technique, A6. That's not just any notebook. It's a classic. It's all you, baby.
Ceramic plate. Zirconium dioxide, most likely. Under the heel. Fair weather. Fair weather model T500 VE. Piece by piece. He's been out here for 7 days. We should keep a lookout for these species. The armor could yield information. This is one thing he might actually know. No, I think he had something precious underneath the clothes. They had to remove the jeans and shirt we found to get to it. And this can...
Nice. That makes sense.
They usually hang them completely naked for that. La puta madre. The Mazda.
Fucking talking about underpants.
Clearly, Kuno would like to interject something here, but there's not enough for him to hold on to.
It is. It's expensive. We've requested similar material for our tactical units for years now. The constabularies deemed it too for a full set, about 4 years of wages.
For the northwest region of Revachol, an officer's average yearly income is 5,000.
Not too much, yes. It's a sorry situation, I agree. That's for us to find out. Mr. Gart implied he was security personnel for the harbor company. This confirms my own assumptions. Just something I scraped together from my station. An area report on Martinez. I'm sure you... I agree. This equipment is way beyond what a guard can afford.
A small bell-like sound fills the air, like tapping on the side.
It's anything but. This material is a kinetic redistributor. It spreads kinetic energy horizontally, from plate.
Faint, organic lines cover the plates, where they separate into smaller ones, like whirls of floorboards. The design looks organic, influenced by if trees were made of porcelain, this is what their cross-sections would. The smooth, glossy surface fractures into ever more intricate interconnections. Peaking on the right, the whirls are in the shape of a letter and number combination. E50 100.
Good. Can you read it to me?
X5415 6745 678222. Let's lie.
We have a make and a number. That's something. We can use the radio in my kinema when we're done.
This feels dangerous. The stench fills your nostrils.
Stop! Pig's gonna pull his head off.
Brutal!
Even the mongrels can see you're about to pull his head off.
Do it, homo!
Pull his head off. There's no point performing an autopsy if...
Indeed. From this angle, it does look like the neck isn't going to take much.
What are you trying to achieve anyway? Why are you hanging on to that boot? How many clues do you need? You already found a number. There's no way you're getting them off. All the organic matter in his body has been flowing down into...
You're sure there's a way to peel them off, but first the body needs to be down. And second, it would probably be better if the lieutenant wasn't around. The anticipation makes you crack your fingers. Feels nice.
Processing will take care of them. With the situation in the morgue, it will yield nothing.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cog. An intricate web of blue lines stretches across the torso, from the right shoulder to the solar plexus. His corpse is marked by alcohol and heartbreak.
A map of the stars. I do see some similarity to astronomical charts. Great century missing.
As if someone left out most of the night sky, filtering it through personal choice.
So am I.
He takes a thin piece of milled aluminium from his coat pocket and pulls it open. Sounds like a sword being unsheathed. A small...
Shit, Kuno! What the fuck is that?
An instant color camera. I have only 2 ampoules, so nobody move. I don't want to waste one.
A sound, a shrill flash, followed by the breaking of a small ampoule of glass. You see streams of color pour onto the thick, glossy piece of paper.
In case we need it. Yes, it is pretty cool, isn't it? It contains insight to the victim's person. By his build, I'd say this was a man of physical violence. The story he wanted his body to tell was important to him. It is his letter, to us. Someone should decipher. Sure, just don't lose it.
The glassy-eyed corpse looks by. His eyes are milky white and blind till dark brown hair grows on his head. His face is ready to explode from the organic...
I'm gone. I'm a joke. Look at me. A killer. A motherfucker. Go ahead, Kobo. Into the wild pale in the past. What do you mean? It's the power of your imagination. Go ahead. Because you're a copperoonie. Look at all of them go. Here you go, loony. Fuck no. You're no Rooney. Listen to yourself. You're not a Raphael anything. You're probably just a Harry or something. You might be onto something there. Because you have. Do I remind you of something?
A child born with Muller's disease, harlequinism, grown up miraculously.
You sure wrinkled out of that one, Coppolini. Come back later, Coppo. Amuse yourself.
Are you sure we finished the preliminary examination of the cadaver? We might miss some of these things.
The cadaver slowly twists on the cargo belt. As you narrow your eyes, the monster before you. This is a trick. You've done it before. Pink is where the blood settled in the first hours post-mortem. You can use only the lower extremities are pink with a dash of blue. His fatted hands, thighs, and his neck.
I see it. His neck too. The lividity goes right up his chin.
The monster comes back into focus. An explosion of color, coursing with dark marbled veins.
So, what do you think? Agreed, especially on the neck. The belt acted like a tourniquet, keeping the blood in it.
You would still like the hypostasis marks in the neck to be a bit more pronounced.
Maybe it looks faint to you? It could be more pronounced, actually. Dumont noté. There's always a chance. We should check for ligament marks on his neck to see if they're in tune with the belt. We'll have to get him down first. I do. Most of them are post-mortem.
Stop talking in riddles, coin slot.
He means you fucked him up good, Kuno. Fucked him up brutal-like.
I agree.
His personality is no longer a part of...
Totally dead. That sounds about right, yes.
But there is no breath to catch. Only the cadaver.
The steel-reinforced belt presents a unique challenge.
He doesn't actually think the challenge is unique. He thinks it's frustrating, annoying, and hard.
The cadaver is a good 1.2 meters up. Neither one of us can reach the belt without assistance. And even if we do, there's the question of cutting the airship strength material. Climb up there, and there has to be a less risky way, with less falling down of trees.
Yeah! Bang bang time, pig! Shoot his head off!
How?
Where the buckle ties the rope to the branch. That's a good spot to aim.
Where? Ah, yes, I see. If the shot hits that...
Yeah, now we're talking.
They'll miss! The pigs will miss, Kuno!
I'll blow his head off.
Take it!
Yeah, take the...
Silence. With his and produces a lightweight firearm. He drops a paper cartridge in the barrel, separates the scouring stick, and gives the cartridge 5 tucks. That's a Kiel A9090 Armistice, mass-produced muzzle loader. He then steps back and assumes the fellow's desk position, taking aim. The corner...
He's gonna fucking miss!
The kid's voice is drowned in a shrill blast that echoes off the walls of the surrounding town.
God damn it.
Fucking idiot! Mookaba!
Kuno could have hit it easy, but then Kuno's not Kuno's sorry too. Kuno feels sorry for the...
The lieutenant doesn't say a word, just looks at the gun in his hand.
I have to say, it's beginning to look unlikely we can get him down without assistance. It's bad as it is. Us shooting firearms like punks. Go ahead. I'm not stopping you. Just don't lose it.
This is the sorriest pair of pigs.
Yeah, take it, you fucking banani poika! Take it and shoot yourself in the mouth!
The cold piece of bakelite and gunmetal is surprisingly light.
The fuck are you waiting for, Kuno? Tell him to shoot himself!
The buckle comes into focus in your sights. You stand.
Why don't you just shoot yourself in your mouth? At least you won't miss.
Your field of view narrows. The branch slowly moves, becoming entirely two-dimensional. The slow movement of the branch in the wind and your shoulders direct.
Look, he's crying. You gonna cry now, fucking faggoty?
I agree. Enough gunslinging for today. We need to access the harbor and ask the leader of the Union to have it taken down. They have the tools, and they have men. I did not want us to be indebted to Everard Clare. I wanted us to be able to deal with it ourselves. That is clearly not the case.
You need to suck my dick! Why the fuck am I still alive?
He's a dangerous and corrupt man, and we cannot predict what he...
Inside, you see a set of steering levers, a radio microphone, a pull-out toolbox.
This is Precinct 57. How may I assist you? Sir, officer. What's the number? And got it. I'll contact the ICP database immediately. Call back tomorrow. Hopefully
The International Collaboration Police, ICP, is an inter-Isoleri law enforcement service. The crown jewel in the moral
57th, over and out.
In the cabin, you see a set of steering levers.
Kuno care? Yeah? The kingdom of Kuno? The fuck do you want with it? Yeah, whatever. Kuno, the fuck about it? Kuno doesn't give a shit about the armor. Kuno's fuck gimp's got one. Look at him. Fucking growth hormone shit. He's a giant. Kuno doesn't give a shit about that freak. Kuno tried to get the helmet on. It was too big. Kuno kicked that shit in the sea. Rugby, yeah? That shit means nothing to Kuno. Kuno doesn't give a shit. You wanna fuck on someone about that armor? Go fuck the mustached union fuck. The jolly troubadour shit at the gate. Yeah, cocking boot. You know that jolly union cow fucker? Came around talking about cows or some shit? Came around
Yes, you met him at the gates. The one with...
Yeah, he's the one you want to talk to. He's fucking crazy about...
Curious, my liege. Why did Kuno feed you this information?
Yeah, Kuno's doing charity today. Kuno Day. Kuno
Still, seems suspicious. He may have it in for that guy. Or you may be paranoid. That is also a possibility.
Fuck are you talking about? What?
He says you're stupid, Kuno. They want to make you stupid again.
Oh, get the fuck out of here calling Kuno stupid. Pigs come to Kuno for guidance, then say
they're lost without you, Kuno.
Why don't you figure your shit out yourself?
Got told by a 12-year-old.
You're testing Kuno.
Get lost.
Kuno doesn't fuck.
Right to work!
Hola, wandering man. The little boy had a good on his promise to get me into trouble, to sick the pigs on me, pardon the choice.
What happened?
I was asked to look into that armor situation. Official union probe.
Did you?
At first I thought, why not? Maybe the pieces can feed the strike. Buy us a few more days under the sun. So I went to this boy. He said he'll make me his prison bitch. He's got eyes everywhere, and the serves me right for doing menial footwork. I dropped that probe right then and there, and it still got me into trouble. One bad move is all it takes. It's a minor nuisance. It's all good. I learned that people don't want to talk to a drunk union man about some armor.
What else?
Not much. Technical stuff mostly. I did some research into this armadura. Let's say I have friends at the library.
How does it come off?
In parts. 4 in total. The helmet was the first to go. The kid says he tore it off and kicked it into the sea. I believe him. The boots were... So, as I count, there are 2 parts missing. The gauntlets and the cuirass. This is where I left off. Too much hassle. Oh, they're just gone. They don't exist anymore, if they ever did at all. Forget about them. I did.
All of it? There are junior officers out there, eager to prove themselves. I would leave some for them.
It's implied he finds it unlikely.
A mesquite epic then, all across Martinez. I hope it will be a real bonanza for you. No problem. If you see that kid, thank him from Call Me Mañana. Thank him for showing me the way.
For something odd? I don't know what you're talking about. He did something. He stole his employer's goods and another lorryman's job. You should be thankful for the... Listen up, fuckwits. You don't scare me. You cops don't run Evashal West. You don't run...
No. He means La Puta Madre.
A legendary, and not in a good way, crime boss from Jamrock. Looks like the lieutenant has a plan.
Yeah. Him.
Then I presume you are familiar with...
Yeah, they're his little bitches. He's got them all...
Not just the unions. He has peonies everywhere. Some say he even has them in the RCM. Dirty fucking...
The lieutenant adopts a rodentine quality.
You're not peonies. You wouldn't be investigating a drug thing.
No, of course not. We're not peonies. But if we were, and one of Madre's drivers were to be stealing from him...
He's surprisingly good at this. Not bad at all.
It's not a hard job. It won't take a long time. It won't make Padre Madre angry. But a stupid fucking racist is standing in the way.
I'm not scared of you or the mob. I'm under the protection of the law.
You've seen that corpse in the ceramic armor there. Did his shitty little guild protect him?
Nah, you wouldn't just leave him out there if you...
The lieutenant turns and gives you a barely I've softened him up as best I could. Now it's on you to finish the job. The main thing is to not overdo it, even when you're trying to scare someone. The most important thing is, how does it look on your resume?
What? What do you think we're doing right now, Runt? We're outside. There's some kind of homo thing?
Okay, that's enough, detective. We'll just have to ask someone else about the lady driver. Let's go.
Stuck in the rain in a traffic jam, man. What's on your mind? I don't want to talk about that. Man, I was hoping it isn't going to be her. All I can say is, she isn't around here anymore. She isn't some evil drug trafficker. I didn't, man. I told you, I was hoping it's not her.
It's true. We would have caught a lie. But a kind-hearted, emotional rhetoric. He knew something and he didn't share it with you.
Thank God I don't know. People here call her the lady driver. A friend? An acquaintance. I don't know. She was the only person in this damn jam I could talk to. A youngish woman. Gruff, but in a...
What color hair?
Blue and violet. Dyed. It was violet when she...
Then she may have dyed it again.
Damn, I don't want to... Please just let it go. Whatever she did, it can't...
We can't just let it go.
That's how it always is with you, isn't it? All part of the investigation. The girl's troubled. If you hunt her down, she may not survive it.
It won't come to that. We won't pursue her on this.
I don't believe you. She's got the darkness in her. That young person's darkness when you think it's all over.
She shared this with...
Yes. Which is why I don't want to snitch on her. I heard the rumors. I saw the other drivers looking at me strange when we talked.
Did this violent life include...
Well, it looks like it did now. Fuck, man. Go grill someone else with these questions, okay? There are plenty of drivers here who could...
He's right. There are other options. The raceman, for one. Wait, this guy says they're friends. Then, acquaintances. And he's okay. Push Tommy and it will break his heart. And his spirit. Don't expect you to be pals.
I thought you were a different kind of cop. Here. Her lorry's still here. Down past the statue of Philippe. The cabin is green. You can get it.
When did she leave?
Last Friday. She left them to me. Because she trusted me. So I can get it out of the...
The other drivers would have to tow it or break in to get the machine.
If they break in, they would find what's hidden inside. Something incriminating.
No. I don't...
Thank you for your cooperation, sir. I know it was hard, but...
You don't really think so?
I really do. If I didn't, I wouldn't be...
This screen found A to Z.
This is the one our man pointed to.
You You push the key into the lock and turn. It makes a crack. The smell of cigarettes and perfume welcomes you. The cabin inside is plastered. These are movie posters featuring starlets. From one of them particularly catches your eye. A centerfold of an ingenue. There's definitely perfume in the air. It's spicy, the remnants of a sweet juniper-scented perfume. Probably great. The actress is draped in a sheath dress, one of her shoulders. This is Tijon, a starlet from the dawn of. She wasted away in a drug den called The Actresses, and the rear actor. Looks like the frequency dial is absent. It requires.
Strange. There are so many radio stations saved here. Must be for contacting an entire fleet of lorrymen for it. Looks like we are dealing with an impressive organizational tool. Doesn't look like it.
The smell of 1,000 cigarettes. You wedge yourself under the steering wheel to get a better look, but one odd detail does catch your eye. Sandpaper adds extra grip.
Sandpaper?
The movie stars are still smiling from the walls. The metallic drawer slides out from the seat. It's an issue of Périphérique from last Wednesday. It looks like an article ripped out from a radio enthusiast.
The Ulan frequency system? I've never heard of that before. I know of FM, AM, UKV, but...
The pull-out toolkit slides back into its nest. You close the rusty old lorry.
Great. I think we got everything. A word, detective? All right, we've finished here. Let's quickly debrief and go over what we found, so we don't do it in front of the company rep. Honestly, I'm quite worried by what we've seen so far. The evidence seems to point to a I'm especially intrigued by that radio transmitter, particularly the sheer number of
This means it's well-funded.
I'm not sure what the Ulan frequencies are all about, but they may hold some significance. Perhaps it's a better way to connect between fleets while avoiding frequency bleed, or maybe it's used to tap into RCM. We didn't find anything conclusive linking them to the smuggling operation. My suggestion is, we use it against the Union in any way we can, to our own ends. It's a slippery hill, but we just might be able to pick. As elegant as they are, I don't think they are relevant to the drug trade. Yes, well...
Unimportant.
We should return to the murder case, see what Joyce tells us about the lynching. When we are done for the day, I call my station and suggest our narco... There are more than enough grounds to start an official investigation. The fact that one hasn't started already gives me pause. An investigation, I mean. Especially if the Madrid grouping is in... All the same, I don't like the idea of internal affairs descending on the matter. That won't help. Debrief over. After you.
You see a heavy steel door with a prominent. You immediately feel drawn to the color.
You do? It's a door in the back of the kitchen. Why do you care where it leads? Yes. I suppose it's worth seeing if we can get in.
It's hardly a side investigation. You already have a name for it.
It's hardly worth a title. Anyway, Gart is the person to ask about this.
The cobalt blue surface, it leads to a side building. Adjacent, the door doesn't.
Can I help you? Another thing. Great. Oh yes, that door. Sure. No, I don't have a key. I don't know how to get there.
Wondering about it is.
Or some boring storage space with a bunch of...
He's attempting to maintain an air of indifference.
Fine, okay. A little. But so, I haven't opened it.
I have cleaned the whole place 100 times over, though. After the yes. Yes. Have you got a lot? A lot. For the room? Yes.
Yes? What do you want to know? What's there to say? It's just stupidity. The cop kind. Our precincts can't decide if Martinez is part of Jamrock or the Industrial Harbor. Yours, well, sort of. It's less a matter of who gets to. I think the dispatch desk just told both our stations about the hanging. There was quite the brouhaha at the 57th, I can tell you that. Time to settle it, they said. Cop off. But I assure you.
So he volunteered to represent the 57th. Somewhere in your mind hangs a dark green blackboard. There are 2 columns. One says, cases solved. The other, confirmed killed.
Yes. I'm an unrepentant spoilsport.
It's all part of the master plan, you see.
No. Oh no, it's very imaginable. We fail to place responsibility for the hanging. The harbor company see the situation is out of control, so they bring local law enforcement. Solving one little homicide decides nothing. Not solving it can have real and calculable effects. Things can always get worse. Matter of fact, augury, we should move.
The rows are endless. Jean Vicmer, Judith Minot, a special consultant. What your brothers have left you.
Well, technically, the official record keeper has been known.
A common accounting gimmick used to inflate precinct stats.
I'm good enough for this case. I'm not here to compete. Yes, it's a wholly pointless matter. Forget I ever mentioned it.
Look at you. It's because you're a failure. They sent you to slight Precinct 57. Just think about it for a second. You're a raging alcoholic who showed up 3 days late where
I've considered it. It would be immensely ugly of them, not to mention unprofessional. I checked the records. This jurisdiction dispute, who polices Martinez, reaches back to the 30s. It said I am the finest of nothing. Safe? No. But you're old. You've made it this far. Something has brought you through. We've only just started, so no, I don't think they sent you as a joke. And even if they did, they are in for a surprise. We should think about calling it a day, maybe. Nice. You should take care of that, then. Let's talk to him anyway. An officer of the RCM shouldn't be sleeping.
Can I help you? Yes. Have you got it? Does that arrangement include you paying me what we already agreed you owe me?
I understand your predicament as the manager. I feel I must remind you that we are here to conduct an important...
Forgive me for saying this, but your colleague seems more committed to drink. I mean no offense. It's really nothing personal. I just have to protect the interests of this estate. Good luck trying to use it. All the locks have an electronic component. They have to be unlocked down here with a master key. Not until you bring me the money.
Okay. I might have something in my motor carriage we can use when you're done here.
I really didn't want to resort to this.
Oh, Lieutenant, we're done here.
Inside, you see a set of steering levers.
I have something here we could sell. Look in the back, in the suspect transport enclosure.
Transport enclosure? Regular people just call it the cage. The cage at the back of the motor carriage looks rather uncomfortable.
I confiscated these for a little while back. We can take them to the pawn shop down by... There are spinner hubcaps, frivolous things you put on your wheels. When the wheels come to a stop, the caps keep on spinning. There's no real use for them. A couple of weeks ago, I stopped a young man for going slower than the speed of traffic. Turns out he was some coalition official. I don't know. Is it? I was going to take them into evidence, but they weren't necessary for conviction. He never asked for them back. No, that would be silly. I don't know why.
The spinners shine so bright they reflect on the lieutenant's glasses. He doesn't say. The lieutenant nods as you take the spinners.
Greetings on this fine night. The pawn shop is always open.
Okay, he definitely is high. Whatever it is, you looking at his wares, talking to him, that might give you more clues.
Yes, we'd like to sell these hubcaps.
Roy takes the hubcaps from the lieutenant.
Yes, these are very, very good. Did you defraud?
No one was defrauded or jumped, I assure you.
Of course. I meant no offense.
Thank you. Here's the 130 real you need for your bill. Do not waste it.
The rest is for him, to compensate for the pain of being separated.
Anything else you're thinking of selling? Another time, perhaps.
Can I help? Yes. Have you got it? Well. Great. Thank you, officer. That's all I wanted. Payment for services rendered. If you continue to stay here, the electronic lock to your room has been disabled till 9 p.m. tomorrow. Please pay for each night in advance starting tomorrow. 20 real per...
I'll take a room here too.
Of course. Always happy to have officers from the RCM as guests.
Yes? Yes?
This is the door to the room you...
Just a moment. You had some questions earlier, I believe.
The air outside is brisk. The lieutenant is silent for a moment. He listens to the traffic hum. Then...
Where shall we begin? We should talk about the investigation, first and foremost. But I also remember you wanting to discuss the RCM? I have a cigarette every night when I go over my notes. It's something of a...
Oh man, he looks so devastatingly cool with that cigarette.
You mean this? This isn't cool. It's an unnecessary trial of will. And
keeping the habit within the parameters he's given himself takes a lot of focus. It would be easy to simply quit.
Yes, it's been a long and eventful day. Well, we inspected the victim's body, so that's good. I would say our initial inspection was very thorough, and we have solid leads to follow up on. The body is still hanging from that tree, which is unfortunate. And there's still much to do at the crime scene. As for the interviews, we weren't able to find the union leader, Everard Clare, much less interview him. So that's on the to-do list for tomorrow. We tried to interview the White Pines rep, but she asked us to do something for her first. We learned some interesting things along the way. We have to get Joyce to talk to us. I have a feeling she knows how dangerous the situation really is. But we also have...
If Kim is emphasizing something this much, it...
Above all, though, today was exhausting. What's with all the running? You run a lot. Is that a standard Precinct 41 practice? It's impressive, especially for a man your age. And in those nice shoes, by the way. I like the green. Goes with the orange. They're quite limited, actually. The power officers of the Revachol Citizens Militia exercise most frequently is imposing fines of up to 1,000. The RCM's primary role is to ensure safety. We are not really supposed to play any part in the... Yes, although indirectly. As citizens can always request records, officers of the RCM have been known to take bribes of less than the prescribed fine amount. It undermines trust. We can arrest people, of course, but rather than bringing someone in directly, it's preferable to serve a station closely. It prevents confusion and overcrowding. You can't. Those who don't show up become fugitives, though, and have fewer legal rights when they are eventually caught. It's about power projection. Thus far, they seem to mostly show up. As you may have gathered from the fact that we are expected to carry a record of our kills, like the one in your watermarks, we are permitted to use whatever force is necessary. And strongly admonished, you have to supply compelling evidence for why it was necessary to use lethal force. In these cases, not a good position to be in, by the way. Internal Affairs handles these cases thoroughly, by cross-examining you for inconsistencies. It is hard to cover for anyone. We don't convict. We arrest and send them to coalition government courts in Kourou and La Delta. The prosecution works off our testimonies and records, the coalition government, and the moral intern more broadly. The RCM was formed by the coalition government to restore order in the international zone after the revolution. So we did. Now we attempt to move, or perhaps it is better to say we were allowed to form. It's a point of contention whether the citizens of Revachol or the coalition government. Silence. A great comment to such a conundrum. The Moralists International are the world's largest political organization. You know, they're a union of center-left and center-right parties across the Real Belt. Our coalition government is just one of its many projects. Interesting question. It's a blue forget-me-not. Their motto is love, compassion.
Something kind and usual, something almost something ominous. Something like the dark blue, serious color of the early night sky above.
The moral intern are a fact. I try not to have opinions on facts until they change. And what do they believe in? They are Dolorians. They believe they continue the humanist project set forth by Her Innocence Dolores.
Those others say they continue the humanist project set.
A historic figure? The author of the modern age? You will have to look elsewhere for opinions. The subject of humanism is too abstract. Do you? No. We are stooges of the world's biggest bourgeois organization, protecting the people of Revachol. That's the hand we were dealt. Without the MI, we would be common vigilantes. Spoken like a revolutionary, not a cop. But hypothetical aside, in Martinez we already are vigilantes. At least the Union thinks so. I expect our job here to prove quite challenging.
The dying lights of the city shimmer below. Slowly, like luminous clouds, they pass on. This soldier is the highlight of the day for me. You think an aerostatic passes overhead, the whiskers of its floodlights on the ground.
They really don't like us here. And the mouth on that kid, Kuno. It's different in that it's our fault for leaving this place to the dogs, to the Union, to the company, not daring to come here more often. We run this city. West of the river is RCM land. It's incredibly hard. Human beings are... But we are in control, and it's worth it. The organization works. Our systems work. Me too. But I wouldn't count on any drastic...
He is very tired, but the dark circles under his eyes make...
Yeah, it's getting very cold now. Let's go.
A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face, adorned with the expression. It's like something snaps in you, a nerve ending, a thought, a sadness. Your face in the mirror, just like that, it's over. The running gag that your life had become. A sad old man looks back at you. A mirror hangs on the bathroom wall. In it, your face. The chain cutters slip out of your hands as you attempt to twist the faucet in. The bed is cold and not particularly inviting. The sheets feel at once coarse and clammy against your skin. The bed sags beneath your weight as you stretch out, and then sleep doesn't come. And then sleep doesn't come. Maybe it's the bed's fault. It's a little better. Colors, scene, something to do with. What was it that the lieutenant's? Your breathing steadies. A great silence washes over you until your eyelids.
Do you remember the scent of your childhood? You're not kidding anyone, Harry. Do you remember your wife's hand on your face? That's right, funky baby. And you just stood there. One hand, tell me, where are your friends? They were only cramping your descent into the abyss. You failed Elizabeth. Everything. The Pale and the East. You really dropped the ball, Harry. No, Harry. You were just talking to yourself. That's all you were. You'll be back in the stinky boy. You're not coming back from shit. Thrashing around in that high con. You're trying to what? I can't hear you.
So something is wrong. Sleep shouldn't be this bad, this dry. Oh yes, party boy, and it's worse than the one before. Time to go to work in the shit factory.
Good going, buddy. Really? Because you feel even worse this morning than you mean, why are you so tired? Too tired and down to even think? It is worrying, isn't it? You can't be a detective like this. It's just that your heart has finally pumped all the speed out of your system. You're too weak to say no now. Waking up is the worst part. Maybe somewhere down the line Speed is a potent central nervous system stimulant. It kept you propped up all day yesterday, despite your debilitating hangover. How else did you think you even got up from this floor? It's power, man. It's professionalism. It makes you feel like you're young again and ready to detect, ready to go to war against the world. Are you sure? Ready to live as this pathetic shell of yourself for days? Basically, a week. Let's be honest, 2 weeks. Suit yourself, slow, sad shell.